Since Python is an object-oriented programming language, Python deals with objects and classes. Like now, it is an object-oriented programming language. So everything, almost everything, is an object with every object has properties and methods. Now every object has properties and methods. Like now, for an example, you can declare a class, and then inside the class you can declare the variables and methods. So based on the class you can create objects. So we can say class is a blueprint or the template for an object, right? What else we can say? Right now class is you can say it's a blueprint or a template of an object. Then class is you can define classes. Therefore, that means you can define the template for the objects. That means if you want an object to have the variables what the object should know, then you can declare it in the class. What are the methods that the functionalities object can perform, that you can declare it in the class. Therefore, in a class in Python is a user defined template or blueprint for creating objects. Class has variables and the methods. Therefore, when you create objects from the class, then each object has those variables or the data and the behavior, the functions. Then classes are created using the keyword class. So if you want to create a class, then you have to use the keyword class, CLASS class, and class, and then you need to have let's say class animal, class dog, and the class name. You have to declare the class with the class keyword and then keyword followed by the class name. Then you can have okay dog. So item, let's say class item. Right now, thereafter inside this class, the variables you want to have, the attributes you want to have for the class objects, you can define here. Then you can have let's say item name. For an example, name equals let's say chair. And if we have multiple attributes now, how can you declare? Right now you may have objects with multiple attributes. What do you think? Now the name, and then we have let's say ID, item name, item ID equals 101. Right now likewise you have. Then this is how you declare a class. Now you have two variables, and then both variables you have assigned values as well, hard-coded values. Right, then if you want to create an object from this one, then let's say object from this class, then you can do it like how? You can do it like object name is, let's say obj is the object name I'm going to have. Then I'm going to have it like the class name. Right now, what is the class name? Item, then item. And right, in order to create an object, now you need to call this constructor then item, and the open and close the brackets. So if you print object, what will happen? And if you try to print object.name, what would be the output? If you print object.id, what would be the output? We'll see. Right now, let's save this one and see. In the desktop, we'll save it as ex.py. Right now, you can see when you print the object, it says item object at the reference it will give you. So it will, if you want to access the variables, then you can access by object.name, object.id. Now here we have created a class call item, and two variables, name, ID, and we have hard coded the values. If you create 1,000 objects from this, that means you can have the same values for this name variable and the ID variable values. Because of this, we have hard coded the values. So if you don't want to do this, if you don't want to hard code the values, if you don't want to hard code the values, then you need to write the constructor. We can say we can write the constructor as well. Right now, then we know the class is a. We said it is a blueprint of objects. No, therefore, in the class, we can declare the variables, that means the data that object should know, and the functions the behavior the object can perform, that is the functions, right? Therefore, we declare the class by using the class keyword followed by the class name, right? Then, after the class name, you have the colon, and then I am keeping a one space or one indent, then you can declare the variables. Right now, variables you can declare. Right then, variables in a class we call as the attributes. Attributes. And then, in order to create an object, right now, there is an instance of a class. If it is, in order to create an object, that means in order to create an instance of a class, you need to have a variable name. Right, this is a variable name and call the class constructor. You have to call the class constructor. This is how you create an object from the class. This is how you create an object from the class. Now, thereafter, in order to access the attributes of the class, in order to access the attributes of the class, um, you use the object name, whatever the object you have defined, object name dot attribute name, object name dot attribute name. Then you use the dot operator or dot notation to access the attributes of a class. Right now, that is how you can do it. But even if you want to assign the values, right now, once you create it, let's say you want to assign the values. So bj dot name equals obj dot name equals, let's say you need to have desk, change the name, and obj dot id equals 111. Right. Likewise, if you want to change the values, that also possible using the dot operator, dot notation. You could access the values and you can assign the new values as well. Right now, that is how you can do it. Right now, even you can have multiple objects as well, not only one object, you can have multiple objects, right? You can have multiple objects if you wish. Now, yeah, I'm going to print name o1.id. Right now, let's see, O2. Right now, let's say bed 1121. Right now, I have created two. Right now, two objects O1 and O2. Then O1 prints desk 111, O2 prints bed 121. Likewise, this is how you can create multiple objects from a single class. You can create multiple objects from the single class. Now, inside this method, let's say we can have the methods. So inside this class, you can declare methods as well. Define info. Let's say I have a method called info and define info. Right now, in the define info method, I'm gonna have print name and the ID. Print name and the ID, and then I'm gonna call o1.info. Now you should remember one thing. Right now, when you try to call this, the info method, now you'll be getting an error. Then it says the type error in item.info takes zero positional arguments. It takes zero arguments, but one was given. So now here we have not passed any. Okay, anyway, this will be a problem. O2. Right now you can see here we have not defined a parameter here because you can have any parameter here. Let's say x you can have. So that is the object you are reference you are saying. Therefore, you can't just print like name and ID. You see. And now if you do it again, you will be there the problem saying uh, line 6 name ID. Name is not defined. Therefore, which name you are referring to? We are referring to x dot name and x dot ID. Right now, here we call it as a self variable. Right now, you can have any name for this one. In most places, in order to make this work easier, it is declared as self. You are passing self. That means you are passing this object reference. So if you are passing a reference here, then that you have to use self.name, self.id. That means that is how you relate that it to the whatever the object you are passing here. We are passing with the when you are calling the info method that is related to reference of one that object one. This is reference to the object two. So when you are calling this, you have to pass, you have to declare the self method as well. And if you do not have the self method, then declared, then you will be getting an error. Okay, now quickly try up to this point, and then we will see how can we create the constructor. Right now, in order to how to declare the constructor, we'll see in a minute. Quickly try out this. One more minute, quickly try out and tell me if you have any question. Right, then here, okay, if you want to declare the constructor, that means to initialize the values to these variables at the time you create the object, then you can declare the constructor. So let's declare the constructor. Right now, the constructor is also a method, right? Then start with init. It calls as init. Right, then here we'll have the method define two underscores init and then two underscores. Right, now we need to pass the self variable. And what do you want? Let's say price and the quantity we'll have. We'll have a new set of values, item, okay, price and quantity. So price and quantity. And then we'll have a variable called self.name. Okay, item name also will have item name. Self.name equals name and self.price equals price. Self.price equals price and self.quantity equals quantity. Right now, okay. For the time being, let's say we have this. Then if you create an object of this one now, if you try to create an object now, you'll be getting an error saying what? Expected here also. Yes, it's expected. So this has to go in that space. Right now, we need missing three required positional arguments. Then name, price, and quantity. All right, now you need to pass the name. Let's say what is the item you're gonna pass? Let's say pen. Then the price equals 20.5 and quantity 100. Right now you can see, okay, this is how you can call the constructor and then pass. Right now, if you want to print the values as well. Right now define print in, okay, info. Right. Right now I'm gonna print item name. Right now, okay, when I try to do this, when I try to use a name, price, quantity, now I'm getting an error. So, right now, how can I get this? Like, if I use self.name, will it work? Try out. Should I use self.name and self.price likewise, or how will this work? Right now, if I use self.name, self.price, self.quantity, like this, will it work? Just try out and let me know. Right now, yes, because you need to pass the reference now. Right now, Here now it will show you pen price 20.5, quantity 100. Now I want you to write another method called calculate total, right? Calculate total, and then write a method for to calculate the total. Write a method to calculate the total. Right now, calculate a method. Write a method to calculate the total. Quickly write a method called calculate total, and then calculate the total by multiplying price and the quantity, and return the quantity, return the total value. You quickly send me the answer. Okay, finish. All right. One of you have sent me the answer. Okay, Leo, let's see what I wanted to do. I want you to right now, what is it? Calculate total. Calculate total, and then here I'm gonna right now if I want to return, if I want to return a value, if I want to return a value, how can I return a value? Then I can say return what? Self dot price, self dot price multiplied by self dot quantity QTY. Right now, here now we can display print total. Okay, we'll have variable called total equals O1 dot calculate total. Right now, then we would display the total. Right now, let's run it and see. Now it says total is 2050. Right, 2050. Right now, this is how you write functions and so on. Right now, when you print, now previously also, when you print the object, now it gives us something like this representation. Now this is the default representation of an object. So if you don't want the default the implementation or the string representation of an object, then you can uh, change as well. Right, then what you have to do is then you need to define the string function, str function. Right now, for that you can define the str function. What is the str function? Okay, here string representation you can say, or string. Right now here you need to return the way you want to display when you print an object. Now currently this is how it got printed. No? So I can say return when you print an object. If you want return, if you want to say item object, you can say item object. Now bracket return. Now if you print, now it will display the way I have handled it. I have just sent item object now. Therefore, that is what it would display. Right now, if you don't want that, then you can have the way you want, you can define it. Like now, for an example, you can have what? You can have to declare to print the item name. Now, if you try to use a item name plus self.name, can you do it? Can you add the two strings like this? Right, then you can see item name pen. New item, you can say new item. You can declare the way you want to display when you print an item object. Now, if you print an item object, this is how it would display. Even if you create another item or to, let's say, chair 1900 quantity 5. And if you print like now, just to get the print as only o2.info, no, print o2, then it will display item chair. See, now this is how you change the behavior of the string representation of an object. Now the by default implementation of an string object is this class name object at reference number, but now we have changed it by overriding the string representation function, str function. Okay. Now remember this init function is very special function, or else you can call it as a constructor. Okay, if you want to delete, let's say now you want to delete the name parameter or the quantity. Okay, let's say we just need to try deleting the price. Now here after doing this, you can use the delete keyword, delete O1 quantity. Let's say we will delete O1 quantity, and then I will let me try to display the info method. Now when after deleting the O1 quantity, right now when you try to print the info method, Now here you will be getting an error. Then the quantity is no longer available. Item object has no attribute called quantity because I have removed the quantity attribute. I have removed the quantity attribute. Right now, let's do this. Now, this is from the shown, whatever the paper I have showed to you. Hmm. Right now, the question number 10 you can do later on, but try to do it. Question number 9 quickly. 10 we can do. How to create the child classes later on. But quickly start with the question number 9 and send me the code by chat, please. Okay, create a class, the name car, let's say vehicle, registration number, year of manufacture, mileage. Yes, right. Create a class called vehicle. Okay, let me take the late. Okay, the last answer which I have received. The new one also came, but I took before. Right now, let's see. Create a class called vehicle done with the attributes registration number, year of manufacture, and mileage. Self registration number, year of manufacture, mileage. You assign it to the right done. And also, this is not required actual. This is not asked, right? This is not has been asked, so we don't need it yet. And we have to have a method called info, which prints registration number, the year of manufacture, mileage, yes. And O1, you can have not only O1, you can have any name for it, like any name you can have. This is just a variable name or reference name. So okay, this part also not necessary at all. Only this, right? Let's see. Let me delete this. Right now, let's see. It shows like this. This is how you create a class, and then um, this is how you create a class, and then display the attributes of the class. Right, done. So now we know about right now. If you want from this vehicle right now, let's say if you want to delete a certain property or attribute only, delete O1. Let's say even if you just only one, no, if you say O, that would be okay. Delete O dot mileage, delete O dot mileage, and then if you try to print the O dot mileage, now no longer mileage is available, so it should give you an error. We have deleted the mileage, right? Even if you want to delete the entire attribute, then entire object, you can use delete O. That means it will delete the particular object. Right now, now this would print the object, right? Even if you try to print O, right now it will give you an error saying vehicle object has no attribute mileage. That is due to this. So let me make it as a comment, right? Then if you use delete, or then you can say when you try to print, or then you can say name of is not defined. That is how you declare. That is how you delete, how you remove an object, delete an object entirely. This is how you delete attribute of an object, This is how you delete object entirely. Right. Now, let's see how to create the inheritance. Right now, when it comes to Python, how we can make the inheritance. That means how you can inherit the attributes of one class to another class. Right now, how to create a class from an existing class you call as inheritance. Then, in order to create a subclass or a child class, we could use this inheritance. So let's see how can we create a child class. Right now, for the time being, I'm going to create a class called car. Then, how can I do that? So I'm going to use class car, class car inside the brackets. Inside the brackets, I need to have the super class name, which is vehicle. Class car. Okay, now inside the brackets vehicle. That means a vehicle is a super class, car is the subclass. Right now, this will inherit the attributes of this vehicle class. Now try out printing the info method of this class car, creating an object of the class car. See what can happen. Now, what is it? Now we have created class car vehicle. Right then, now uh, right now, if I have right now, let's say I don't need to create the vehicle class object, then let me try right car object, car, and then let's say whether do I have more info? I don't know. Let's see. Okay, C1. Okay, object. Right now, if I try to do it now, I'm getting an error saying what indentation error expected an indented block after the class definition on line 12. Yes, why? Now we have declared a class right now. We have declared a class called car, and then we have made it as a subclass. No, because by inside the brackets by putting the vehicle class as a superclass. So if you don't have the content, if you don't have the content to be used, then use the keyword pass. Right. If you don't have the content to be used, then you have to use the keyword as pass. Right. Then here the problem is now what I'm getting a vehicle in it missing three required positional arguments: registration number, year of manufacture, and the mileage. Now the here let's say now the init function now it requires registration number, year of manufacture, mileage, then it is missing. Now let's say whether if I just pass those values, would it work out? Registration number, what were the values we have given? Okay, 1111. Registration number, year of manufacture, let's say the date you have given, okay, 2012. Right, and then the mileage is 70,000 kilometers. Likewise, just I'm gonna have it. Now what's gonna happen? Yes, now why it was giving us an error previously. Now here we haven't done anything for the class car. We just mentioned car is a subclass of the vehicle class. So car class inherits from the vehicle class, or its superclass. Then therefore, in order to create an object, then you need to call this init function in the vehicle class. So we need to pass these values. That's what I have done here. We have to pass the values. Therefore, you not only let's say C1 or car object like us, you can have any name here. It won't be a problem, right? So we could do it like this. Now, this is how you create a child class. Now, this is how you create a child class. Let's say we have the what was the question before for the child class engine capacity. Okay, now we need to add a new attribute. Now right now the class car class also has the same attributes like the vehicle class. Then I want to have this new attribute for the class car called engine capacity. Right now, how can we add a new attribute for the class car? I want to add a new attribute for the class car. Right now, how can I do that? If you want, right now, let's say if you want to have the init method here as well, right? Instead of pass keyword, you could do it. Then, if you are declaring the init method, then here, right now, if we are declaring the init method, we have to use define init. Then these are the attributes we want to take it. And now this will override. Now this method, now this is overriding. Now this will override the superclass init method. Now what we want to do? Now we need to assign it to the attributes. No? So we can call the now we can call the superclass one. Now what you can do is we can call here, rather doing this, we could call superclass. Now superclass is you can access by the super function super dot, we can call the init function of the super. Right now, let me pass this. Now we don't need to pass the self parameter, the average number year of manufacture mileage, right? We can do it like this. Now let's see. Now you can do it like this, or else we would be able to do it vehicle dot, class name is vehicle, vehicle dot, you would be able to call vehicle dot one. If we are passing vehicle dot, then we have to pass the self. Yes. Right now, if you want, you can call by the class name dot, and you can copy the entire unit function, and you can pass it. Or else you can call super dot init function. Then you don't need to pass the self method. Now this is how you can define the um, this is how you can define the constructor for the child class as well. Right now, our concern is I want to add the engine capacity as well. So here I'm going to declare engine capacity, another parameter, and thereafter here I'm going to say after this, now I want to create a new field to this one. So like this one, we can have self engine capacity equals engine capacity, self engine capacity equals engine capacity. Now here you need to pass the engine capacity as well, 1300 cc. Let's say now we have done it, and now info method also I want to call, but beforehand I want to print. Now print C1 dot engine capacity. Right now, what would be the value of it? Right now, let's see whether you can see it shows us 1300 cc. Now you can see now new attribute has been added to the class car. Now, if you try to create a vehicle object, and if you try to print a vehicle object dot engine capacity is not available, right? Because we have added the field engine capacity only to the newly created class. We have added to the newly created child class. Now this engine capacity has been added only to the child class, right? If you don't want to do it in this manner, you can do it using the self keyword as well. You can pass the required parameters to the superclass constructor, right? And then you initialize. Apart from that, we have another one called engine capacity, the new parameter we have declared, so that we have assigned to the class car objects. Now we have this one. Right now, the problem is now uh, we have the now we have this what the info method. Now we have the info method. Now info method um, now info method is not printing the way I want. The info method is not printing the way I want. So if I want to change it, then I can, let's say, I'm going to copy this one as well. I'm going to override this, and I'm going to have print engine capacity. Engine capacity is equals to this. Now no longer this required if this works out. Now you can see the info method works here. Right now, is there a way for me to figure out, like now, rather printing now, this is you can see the same code I have been repeating, right? Therefore, code duplication, no point, right? Now it's violation of object-oriented programming. Now, why should I make it as a subclass, right? If I am copying everything from the superclass, there's no point, right? So, rather using this, then you can call the super method super.info. We can call super.info, but we need to pass the self. Super.info self parameter we need to pass. And then in addition to that, we need to have this engine capacity. Right now, let's see whether it works. Super. Right now, likewise, we would be able to vehicle.info takes one positional arguments. Why should I not pass that? Yes, I don't need to. Yes, right now we can pass it like this. Super.info, then I can call this method, then it would display here, and then thereafter it would, in addition to the superclass info method, it would print this. Now that is how you call the functions available in a upper class. Right. So now we'll quickly go through this. Create a superclass call account with the following attributes. You need to have account number string, holder name string, balance float right now. If you want, you can assign the default value as 0 as well. And then you have to have a method called deposit, and you have to pass a value as a parameter, withdraw amount, and display balance. And then I want you to create two subclasses. One is called savings account. Then you need to have additional attribute, which called interest rate, and default is 5%. And you need to have method, add the interest, then add the interest to the balance. Right, now there's another class called current account, additional attribute, overdraft limit, and override the withdraw amount to allow overdraft up to the limit only. Right now, overdraft limit is 500, then even you can go to negative 500 as well. Then. Right, then do it quickly. And like 10 minutes we can have. You know how to pass the default values, right? If it is, if the user has not passed the values. Right. How we can pass the default value? If the mileage is not being passed, then you can say mileage equals 0. Then if you forget to pass the mileage here, right now when you're creating a vehicle class object, let's say V1 equals, okay, now it's easier, no? We'll put the engine capacity. If you forget to pass the engine capacity, then it has to be equals 999 cc. Now, if you do not pass the value here, then it would be taken as 999 cc. This is how you pass the default value. You know that, right? Because we have discussed about the functions already. So, quickly do this. We have to have, let me also switch it off, the spellings. Right now, a class 1 called account, and the other one is you need to create the class account, and the other one is savings account and the current account. These are the classes, and these are the attributes: account number, holder, and the balance. And then the methods are deposit, withdraw, and display balance. And additional attribute, interest rate, and another method called add interest. And additional attribute, overdraft limit, and override the amount to allow overdraft up to the limit. Right, okay. Quickly do it and send it to me via chat, please. If you have any questions, please ask. We'll write it from the beginning. Okay. We need to create a class account. So we're going to create a class called account. Right, with the following attributes. Right, then we'll declare the init function. Define to underscores init underscores. Right now we need to have the account number. Self ACC number, account number. And holder name, let's say owner. Easy, no? Owner and the balance BAL. That's it. And balance default value is 0 0.0, 0 0.0. Right. Okay, then we need to have self dot count number. Count number, let's say count number. Self dot account number equals account number. Self dot owner equals owner. Self dot balance equals balance. Right now, attributes are done. Now we need to have a method called deposit. So define deposit, and then we need to get the amount, then self comma amount, and you need to add the money to the balance. So what you can say, self dot balance equals self dot balance plus the amount. Self dot balance equals self dot balance plus amount, and then if you want, you can print deposited. If you want to check the negative values on deposit, if you want to check that, you can have if conditions as well. Deposited, deposited, and then we'll have the amount. But right, and then deposited amount, and then we'll display the new balance as well. Deposited amount. Right, and then deposited, let's say dollar. It's easier. Then new balance. Right now, this would display the balance. Then balance should be what? Self dot balance. Now we have to get the self dot balance, right? We need to get the self dot balance. Right. So now that is about the deposit withdraw amount. Right. Now let's have withdraw. Define withdraw. Define withdraw, and then we have to get self and amount. So now when it comes to what it says, deduct money from the balance, ensure balance doesn't go negative. Okay, then we need to make sure if the balance available balance, then that is taken by self-spread balance. If the self-spread balance is greater than or equals to the amount, if the balance is greater than or equals to the amount, then only if the self-spread balance is greater than or equals to the amount, then only we will be able to do it. Then we would say self-spread balance minus equals amount, and then we can display withdrawn this amount, and then the new balance we can say. Else we can say insufficient balance. Right now we can say insufficient balance. Insufficient balance. Right now we have insufficient balance. Okay, new balance we don't need to display, no? We have method called new balance, so then we can call it, right? So we have the display balance method right now there. We just need to call the self method only. Then we would display the balance available. balance available. We'll display the account number, first account number, comma, ACC and move, comma, balance. Self.balance. Here, this has to be self.account number, right? Self.account number, right? So now display balance also, this part also done. Right. Prints account details. Okay, we have done with this. Now create two subclasses savings account. So you're going to use the class savings account. Inside the brackets, we're going to have the super class name, which is going to be account. Right. Then it has an additional attribute as well. So I'm going to copy this, define account number one, a balance 0, and the default rate, interest rate. I'm going to have int underscore rate, interest rate, and then default value is 5%. So 5. And here we can call the superclass init function. So we can call super dot init, and then you can have the balance as well. Right now, yes, if we have not passed the balance, then it has to be 0, right? Okay, then fine. We need to have self.interest rate. Self.interest rate equals interest rate. Right, now this is how you create the savings class. What else we need to do? Add method add interest. Add the method called interest. Add interest. And self only, and then add the interest to the balance. Right now, then how can you do that? Interest equals, you can calculate the interest. Tell me how to calculate the right now, how to calculate the interest? Interest can be calculated by self.balance. Self.balance multiplied by self.balance multiplied by self.interest rate, int rate, self.balance multiplied by interest rate, this multiplied by interest rate into by 100, no? Divide by 100. So then we need to add that amount to the balance, self.balance. Then we can say self.balance equals self.balance plus C equals interest. Interest, right? Then we can say if you want interest added. Interest added. Interest added. interest, 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 interest. We can display the interest amount here. Now, if you want, you can call the new balance method in order to call the balance, right? Okay, then we are done with this. And we have to create another class called current account class. So, class current account, then additional attribute, overdraft limit. So, we need to copy the entire thing here. Current account as well. Rather interest rate, OD limit. I'm gonna say OD limit, which is $500. OD limit, which is 500 on a dot balance. Then we have to have OD limit. Self dot OD limit equals OD limit. And right now we have done with this. And we need to override the withdrawal method. The way it works should not good enough here now. We need to have our own way of checking this now. But if you want to withdraw amount, then that means if the self balance plus self balance plus self dot OD limit, because it gives you 500 default 500, no, therefore self dot OD limit. That means if the self balance plus OD limit, if it is greater than or equals to the withdrawn amount, then we're gonna withdraw. Right, then new balance, do we need to display that? No, right? We not gonna display the new balance. If you want, you can check the balance by calling the respective method. Right, now that means 92. Right. We are done with this now. Right now, let's create savings class object and see the functionalities, and then we'll create current account, and then we'll see the functionality later on. So savings account, but we need to pass account number. Let's say 123. Okay, ACC account 123. And the account number and the owner, let's say Jane Doe, and then the balance, let's say I'm gonna 10,000. Right, now this would create a new account, and then we can call savings dot display balance, and then we can call savings dot if you want to deposit, let's say deposit 5,000. And then if you want, you can call the balance again, and then we'll we'll have the add interest also. Savings dot, I think it's better to call the and I'm gonna add the interest. So savings dot add interest. And again, I'm going to display the balance, and I'm going to withdraw some amount as well. And I'm going to try to withdraw 20,000 first. Withdraw. Now I don't have that much amount, so I will get an error. Since therefore I'm trying again to withdraw 10,000. Right now, let's see whether what are the errors we have done. Okay. Okay, what does it say? The count any takes from 3 to 4 positional arguments, but 5 were given. Self account number, owner balance, account number, owner balance. Right now, what do you think? Where we have the problem? Yes, that's the problem when we are just copying and pasting. We have not removed this statement. So remember, every time when you copy paste to act accordingly. Right now, see, we have forgot to do that. Now, what else we have? Cell. Okay, cell dot account number. Self other than self. In which line? Line number 19. Yeah, does it show the line number? Doesn't show. Self. Here. Self-dependent interest. That is what we have changed later on. Interest. Right. Amount. Where is that? Amount in line number. Okay. Spelling mistakes. Right now, these are the things you will end up with when you get used to ID and then when you use Notepad. Right now, see, initially when you try account opening, you have 10,000. When you deposit 5,000, you got 15,000. Then you have calculated the interest of, you haven't passed the interest amount. So it taken as default interest value, which was 5, then it has given. But if you pass the interest, if you pass the interest rate as well, 10, if you pass the interest rate also as 10 now, then you can see 1,500 interest added. Then after interest adding balance is 16,500. When you try to withdraw 20,000, it gives you insufficient balance. When you withdraw 10,000, it gives you this. Right. Now, let me do the same thing for the current account class. Right now, let's try out for the current account. For the current account, we need to pass the account number, owner, the balance, and then the OD limit. I'm going to pass the OD limit as 1,000. When I pass the OD limit as 1,000, when I deposit 5,000, and it will become 15,000, and right, 15,000. Then I should be able to withdraw up to 16,000. Then interest method is not available there. And then if I try to withdraw 20,000, it should not. But if I try to withdraw 16,000, I should be able to. Right, now let's try out in the current account where the mistake was. Okay, self. Okay, here also I have removed it, isn't it? Where I have removed, somewhere I have removed it, I don't know. From here I have removed. I see. Not the correct position. Right. The amount. Yes. Right now, when I try to withdraw 16,000, the balance has become minus 1,000. Why? Because it from the OD limit I have taken. But if I try to take like 20,000, it says insufficient balance. It only allowed me to withdraw this much. Right now, this is how you can do this. Right now, this okay. Like for an exam, I might ask you to do something like this. Right now, not now. I won't ask the same thing, but I might have asked something like this. right? If you want to have an idea. Right, but the problem is you have to finish it by 10 minutes, 15 minutes max. Right. Okay, any questions up to this point? You can ask quickly, and if you are not clear with anything, just ask. And anyway, I will just send you the code via chat if you want to try out. Okay, it exceeds okay. That is the account class, and this is the current account and the savings account. Right. So that is about inheritance, and then we have discussed about overriding as well. Right. Then we can discuss about the right. Any questions up to now? I'm gonna go with the math module and the date module, and thereafter I'm gonna talk about how to create our own modules. So, any questions up to now? You can ask.
So I have a question. In the child class init method, do we have to give all the variables from the super class, even if they are not used in the child class?
Yes, because even if you have not now, this is like now if you are not declare now, we have to call initialize an object. No? In order to initialize an object, you need to pass. Now, for an example, you are asking whether without the account number, can you create a savings account? Something like that.
Yes, yes.
Right. Now, let's say for the time being, I'm going to add another one called, let's say we have using all these now. We don't need it now anymore. No? Right. Okay. Let's remove this current account class and then all these methods. Right. Right now, let's try to print this one. Okay, let's say now we have the balance and then interest rate. I'm not going to add this as well, additional one. Right. Now, if I not without this balance variable, right now without the balance, right now if I try to create one. Right now, when I say savings account and I pass the account number and the owner and the balance, I'm not going to pass. Now, what is the error I'm getting now? Current account, okay, it has to be savings account. Right now, you can see, let's print this one. We have not have used the print box. No, so this is print. Right, we'll print savings dot account number. Right now, savings dot account number, and then in owner. Okay, you're asking something like this, right? Now, what happens here is now for the savings account class, now you have overriding. Now, this is the constructor for the account class. No? Now here, this is where you are overriding the constructor. Now, this is the construct actually. Now, this is called the constructor, and then this is the superclass constructor. And then we are creating a subclass called savings account from the account class. Right now, by default. Like if you have not declared this, right? Okay, if you have not declared this right now, if you have not declared this now, you will be getting print savings dot balance, also right now. If you have not declared this, class definition on line number 9. Okay, pass. We have to have the pass keyword because no content there. Right now, you can see if you have not declared the init function for the savings account class, now this will automatically inherit this constructor from the superclass. Now this will be the inherited constructor. Now we're going to override the constructor according to the behavior we want in the savings account class. According to the behavior we want in the savings account class. Now in the previous exercise that we had, like now we were having several methods and so on, which were using balance and so on. Therefore, any of these variables, if you have removed, then that won't work. Now, if you remove it, now here, if you declare the init method, right now this is the constructor you are declaring for the savings account. Then you are declaring this one for the savings account. And then again, if you try to print the balance, now what will happen? Now, if you try to, now we are not now we are not taking the balance here. And you are not passing the balance value here, right? Now, if you do it now, now what happens? Still, the balance is there. Why? Because you have given the default value as 0.0. You have given the default value as 0.0. Now let's say, now no default value is given. Now no default value is given. Now if you try to do it, now you will be getting an error. What is the error? It says in the account class constructor. Account class constructor missing one required positional argument. It's required a positional argument which is balanced because it is expecting if you want to call now, you are calling the superclass constructor in order to initialize this account class object. Now you are trying to initialize the account class object, but now you can't initialize because you don't have the expected values now arguments to be passed to this constructor. The constructor is expecting the balance. So in such scenario, if you have used a default value, something like this, then it would work. Otherwise, it won't. Is that clear? No, no.
Yes, yes, thank you.
Right. Okay. Right now, we can talk about the modules. And before we going into custom modules, we'll see Python date module, what are the available things, and then available methods in the date module, and see, and there are some formattings that you have to remember the basics at least. Right, then yeah, you have to find that as well. Let me find the Python date module from the Python documentation. Right, now this is the date time objects. Date check. Time zone. Like now string formatting. strf time in Python document. Okay, STRF time. Okay, here we have the common forms. Right, for the time being, I will be sending you via chat. We'll be using this. Yes. Right. Okay, now first of all, now we are going to talk about the modules. Under the modules, we're going to talk about the date time module. Right now, we're going to talk about the date time module. Right, then thereafter, remind me to talk about the functions, scope about the local and global variables. Okay, now in order to talk about the modules, right now the date module, that is, there's a module called date time available in Python in order to work with the date objects, and then we can import the date time module. Right now, in order to work with the date time module, first of all, we have to import the date time module. The name is date time, so you need to first uh, import the date time module. Import date time. Right now, thereafter, we can say if you want to get the date, let's say x equals, we have to use this date time dot now. That would give you the current date and time. Right now, then let's print x. Right now, if you use date time dot now, it will give you the current time. Right now, it will give you the current time as well. Right now, if you feel like this is difficult for you to type date time and date time again and again, so you can give an alias. You can give an alias. You can rename this. You can date time. How can you give an alias for this one? Right now, what do you think? Now, when you are importing a module, how can, if you want to uh, rename it, or if you want to refer it by a different name, if you want, you can say date time as D. Then you can say date time as D. Then you can say D dot date time dot now. D dot date time dot now print X. Right now, this would give you the current time. Right now, this object, date object, now the variable X is having a date object. Then the date object string, now you know, right now you know, like when you create a class and then when you print the class object, now it gives us a class name and hexadecimal hash code something. I have deleted now. Then and thereafter we have implemented string function, str function, in order to change the behavior, the way it should be printed. Likewise, then when you print a date object, now this is how the date object is defined to be printed. This is how the date object is defined to be printed. Now this will contain. Okay, let me clear this. Then stop annotation. Right. It will give you the year. This is the year. This is the month. This is the date. It's the time in 24 hours, and then minutes, seconds, and thereafter we have milliseconds. Oh, milliseconds or microseconds, that I can't remember. Maybe micro or milli. Oh, nanoseconds. I don't know. Right now, would be that. Right, then if you want to format this object, and then if you want to format this, and if you want to get something relevant, like only the required values, so we can, there's a function called strf time, string format time, you can say string format time. Right now we can use it. Right now, what we did was, in the datetime module, there's a class. In the datetime module, right, there's a method called datetime. Right now you can use the datetime method, datetime module. There's a class called datetime. There's a method called now. Then using that, using the datetime, using the datetime class in the datetime module, I have requested using the now method, I have get the current date time object. Right now, if you want to get the respective values, then you can format this date time object using strf time method, a string format time methods, and it takes only one parameter, um, and then using that we can format and it will return the respective values. Now we'll see how this strf time is working. Right now, the capital Y gives you capital Y gives you year. Right now, I have sent it via chat. Now, if you want to get this, now we can say x dot. Now we can here also we can do print x dot strf time. Strf time. It is yes. strf time, and then we need to pass the value. Right, then we need to pass the formatter. Format is percentage capital Y. Right, now let's try it out. Okay, not the strf time. It should be strf time in simple letters. Right, my bad. Strf time. Right, now if you try this capital Y, then it will give you only the year. It will give you only the year. Right, then if you use simple Y, there should be simple Y as well. What should be the format of simple Y? Simple Y should be okay. Short version of the year. Right now, what was the other one we had? M month. Okay, M month. Right, M month. And then if you want to get the month, what is the other letter? Which is month. B, okay, abbreviated month in simple B, then it has to be capital B, simple B. Right, let's see. Okay, now 2025, that is short format. Okay, the year, let me have year. Okay, then this one, year, this one, month. Month, month. And then we have year, month, date. How can you get the date? Date, D. Day of the month. Day. Day is simple D. Right. Day of the month is simple D. Right, then when is the day is given by full weekday name, capital A. Okay, then right now day, capital A and simple A. Right now you can try out this day by capital A and simple A. And what else we have? Y done MD, okay, H. Okay, we have an year, month, day. Right, an year, month, date we have done. What is now hour? Hour is capital H, no? Hour. Hour, capital H. Hour, capital H, which is in 24 hours. Capital H would give you 24 hours. If it is 12 hours, what? Can someone find out? Tell me. I can't. Is it time? GHI. Supposed to be I. If it is 12 hours. And then minutes. All right, then minutes. How can you take the minutes? Capital M, minutes. Minutes. Okay, capital M. We have the minutes, and then capital M, and the seconds would be taken from S. Seconds. Seconds by capital S. Seconds capital S, and then AM PM was given by AM PM was given by P. Simple P. Simple P would gives you AM PM. Right, then that's it. We have used all, no? Y, M, D, H, M, S, B, A, P, E, S. Right, now let's try it out. Now it gives you year, month, day, hour, minutes, and it will give you that. And if you want to get the local version of your time zone, it is LOC. Right now, this is the local time format. This is the local time format. Local time, local date. And then there should be a time zone as well. Time zone can be taken. I don't know whether the time zone is passing here. It has to be. Let's see. Simple C, capital C. The difference is C. Okay, the time zone values are not passing here. No, UTC offset also not passing. Okay, this is not. Okay, right now at least for the year, month, date, just at least take a screenshot of this. Then you can get an idea about the output and this how you can format the time, how you can use the time. Right. Then this is how you can use the string format time. And also, if you have the time right now, you can create date object by passing the time. You can create a date object by passing the time. So let's see how can we do that as well. Just try out this quickly, and thereafter we'll see how to create a date object. And let's see. If I want to create a datetime object, then D means the datetime module dot datetime. Now I need to pass the values. Then I want, let's say, 2024 and 12/31st. Right, then I need to pass the year, month, and the date. 2024 12/31st. Right now, if I do it, two brackets, that's the problem. Yes, now here it would create a. Yes, now 2024, December 31st. Other time, minutes, hours, minutes, seconds, I have not passed. So it won't work for those. Then this is how you create a time object, date time object by passing the values as well. Therefore, now actually, when you are calling the date time object, now it takes many values. Right now, here the date time method takes year, it takes year, it takes year. Now this is a required year and the date, year date, and then the year month and the date, year month and the date. Not only those, hour, it takes hour, minute, seconds, and microseconds. It takes hour, minute, second, microseconds, and then sometimes time zone. Likewise, it takes. But now these are optional values. Therefore, if we not pass, then those would be taken as 0. Now, this would be taken as 0 because those are optional. And if it is time zone is not passed, then it would be taken time zone also. There are none. Then in that case, time zone would display as none. Right. Okay, my bad. Mhm. Time zone I have removed. No, I or T or Y. What was the time zone value? Y, T or I. Time zone. Y, O, Z. Y also use C. P is for AM, PM. Okay, capital Z. It won't give us none. No time zone Z. Yes, right now this is how we can pass. If it is, these are the required fields, and these are optional values. Therefore, for these it would take 0, and for the time zone it would pass as none. That is how the date time like now the date time module works. Right now, we have this is one way of using deal with the date using the date time module. Now this is how you work with the date time module in Python. Right now, this is how we have used the date time module. Right now, let's say right now this is how we have used the date time module, and then how we have taken the date, and then how we have format the value as well. Right? If you want to format, let me remove this. Multiple things together, right? Then we can have then under string formatting. I will show you that else we can do it here. Okay, dd is equals. Right now we have x dot strf time string format time x dot strf time. Now you can pass the values you want to pass. Year, month, year, month, the day, day is Tuesday, 31st Tuesday. That should be simple D. Capital D, capital A, no? Yes, capital A. Print DD. See, you can display like this if you want. You can have one string and then you can have it. And not only this, if you want to pass some values for the minutes, hours, and seconds as well, you can say 16, 15 minutes and 25 seconds plus, okay, that's it. Here, seconds, and also it would display like this. Then 6:15, hour 16 means 4 o'clock, so PM. Likewise, it would display only the time zone is not displaying. Right. And then if you want to get only the date, here we have got the date and time. Therefore, and if you want to get only the date, then we can use like okay, date time dot today dot date datetime dot today dot date, and then we can print the next object. Module datetime has no attribute today. Today is today today to d dot today dot date. Why it is not available? This is not working. Let me check. Today dot date is not working. Why? Today dot date. Board date time. We have board date time. And then we use date time. From date time, let's say from date time, we have imported the date. Then I'm going to say d dot date, d dot date today, d dot date dot today is not right. Yes, d dot date dot today is from the date time module. I am using this date attribute and using today. Then it will take only the date. Right now, this is how you can work with that. getting only the date. And if you want to work only with the time, then you can use only the time date time object dot time time. And if you want to pass a value here, let's say 19, 20, 55, then you can work with the time as well using the time attribute, time class actually. That is how you can work with the date and time. And then also let's quickly go through the maths module as well. Right now, day to day, what are the functions you are using? And sometimes we may have you may have already used mean function, max function, likewise we have used. Right, then when you're working with lists and tuples, set, dictionary, that means when you're using with the iterables, we have used the mean and max functions. Right, now for an example, if you use x equals mean, and if you just pass some values 10, 20 minus 5 and 45 likewise, and if you print the x value, that would print -5. Right now that means you have used the mean function. Right now these are min, max, and those you can call it as inbuilt functions. Like inbuilt functions, like sometimes you may have use power 10 to the power 2, 10 to the power 2 likewise, then 100. Now min, max, power, like those are like inbuilt mathematical functions. Now those are the inbuilt or built-in mathematical functions. Right now in Python there's a module called math as well. Then you can, if you want to use a math module, like for an example, to find a log value, to find a floor value, or find a ceiling value, or to find the square root, or to use the natural e value or the pi value. Likewise, then you could use the math module. Right now, in order to use the math module, first you need to import, because we are using the math module available. Therefore, import math. If you want, you can rename it as M as well. Then it's easier for us to work out. Then, if you want to get the square root of some value, then you can say m.sqrt, and you can provide the value of the let's say 102, or you need to find the square root value of 102. Then you can find out if it is a square root value of 100, then you can find the square root value. Like even here, if you want, you can, if you want to find out the square root value, okay, the math dot ceiling value of okay, like when to 10.569 something. What is the ceiling value of this one? Right now you can get the ceiling value, m dot ceil, yes, bracket required. And if we want to get the floor value, right now floor value, you can call it as FLOR, or the lowest value in the given fraction. Right, you can see floor value, square root value, and um, if you want to get the pi value, you can say m dot pi, the constant values. Right, then you can use these. Right now pi value is 3.14, something likewise you can get. Right now that is how you can get the values. Right now there are a lot of methods available in the math module. What are the Python math modules? So let me search in Python documentation. Mathematical functions in the math module. Right, now these are the mathematical functions available. Right now, here we can use a ceiling function. right now, flow. And if you want to find the absolute value of x, and if it is FABS, right now let's try out print FABS minus 10, right? Then 10.0. Right now, likewise, it will give you. And flow value we have discussed, and then what else we know already? Remained fx with respect to y, right? Floating point values. So there are, if it is whether it is a number or not, is none. Right now, if you want to check whether given value is a number or not, then you can check whether print m is none. I think n is none simple is none, and you can pass just a number, okay, minus 10. And also if you want, you can pass a positive value, see, okay, 0, whether it is a number, or 15, or if it is a, something like that, you can figure it out whether it is a number or not. Okay, a we had to pass as well. Right now must be a real number, not string. You can't pass the string values here. It has to be a real number in order to check whether it is a number. Right now, likewise, you can work with the NaN function and cubic root of x. Cubic root of x. You can find the CBRT is the cubic root of x. Then, if you want to find out cubic root, now cubic root of 64 is 4 into 4 into 4 is 64. Then CBRT 64. Just you can find out. CBRT is the cubic root. It has to display 4. And then the logarithmic values also see. Right now, I will send you this documentation link where you can figure it out. Just try out the methods. Now, this is how you can work with the math module. Right now, in Python, there's a module called math. Then math module has lot of methods right now. How many methods are there? Actually, these functions can be complex. It cannot be used with complex numbers. If you want to use with the complex numbers, you have to use the C math module. Right now, these are the available functions in math module. Right, therefore, you can just go through and then you can read the description as well. This is how you can use math module. Now, when you have to do calculations, right, finding the log values and so on. One thing we do, if you want to find the log value, what? I want to find the log value for base 2, right? Log value and base we need to use. Right now, let's try out that. I want to find the log value for the log 8 for base 2. I want to find, what was the function? Log. I want to find the log value for, okay, 2 for log value 64 for base 2. Base 2. I want to find the log value log 64 for base 2. Right, then 6. 2 into 2 into 2 into 2 into 2 is 64. 2 to the power 6 is 64. Therefore, it is 6. It is 6. Likewise, you can find out. Oh, therefore, just go through this, and then whenever you require to do some mathematical calculations, then you could use this math module. What you have to do is you have to just import math, and then you can deal with it. Right now, we have just discussed about the what you call the date module in brief and the math module in brief. Now, thereafter, we can see how can we create our own modules. So, we'll deal with the our own modules also quickly. Right now, if you want to create your own module, right now, let's create your own module first, and then we'll see how to work with that. Uh, let's say I want to create a module called I'm going to create say hello method. Every time I'm using say hello method, no? Say hello. I'm gonna create a method called say hello, and I'm gonna print mm, hello, and then this is the my one of my method, and then I'm gonna have another method. Um, define what get total. If I have a method called get total, and then here you have x and y, and I'm gonna print x plus y is okay total. Okay, the sum equals x plus y. Likewise, I have some certain values, and then I want to have value also. I want to have a value also, and x. Okay, n equals 100. N equals 100, and I want to have my data. Okay, me, or let's say I want to have a variable called me, and I'm going to create a dictionary if I want. Let's say me equals dictionary, and I'm going to use name equals Jane Doe. The name and the country. Name has to be a string, no? Okay, age equals 17, city equals ZMD, right? Likewise, I have a dictionary as well. Now let's save this in the desktop itself. Call what? mydata.py. 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 mydata.py in the desktop. Let's save it. Right now, okay, then let's try to import our mydata.py. Then you can say import import my data, and then if you want to use it, let's say you want to call the say hello method. Then if you want to save it as or you can, if you don't want to save it as, then you can use the my data dot say hello. My data dot say hello. We can call my data dot say hello, and we have get total. My data dot get total. Get total, and then you have to pass 1.5 plus 4.5, not plus, right? You have to pass it. And then we have print my data dot n. We have defined constant value my data dot n. Let's say we have variable also name is equals and Smith, and we'll try to print the name as well. And also if you want to use the dictionary as well, if you want to use the dictionary name as well, then you can say my data dot me, my data dot me, and if you want you can return the keys me dot keys method. Items, we'll try first items and then we'll see the rest whether it works. Right. Now CLS. Okay, what's the problem? There's issue in Jane Doe in the dictionary H. Comma is missing now. That's the problem. Name Jane Doe cannot assign to literal here. Why? Ah, equal signs. How? Okay, see. Silly mistakes. Cannot bear. Right, see. Now you can see the dictionary items. You can figure it out. If you want, you can find the keys. And then if you want, you can iterate through the list as well. Right now, you can say for X in. How can you iterate? Iterate through a dictionary. Tell me now. I can't remember. Now we have done it already. No. How can we iterate through a dictionary? Is it colon or in? Oh yes, in Java you have to do it. For X in what? My data dot me for X in my data dot me. That is the dictionary for X in my data dot me. But we have to say print what my data dot me, and if you want you can get the X. That is the key. All right, now you can go through this. If you want, you can define the key and the item. Then you could print name J2 and H likewise. Now this is how you declare your own modules. Therefore, now you can see we have declared variables. Then these are constant values now, not variables. Constant values. We have declared a dictionary. You can declare a list. So on, we have declared methods, and this is how you can work with your. This is how you can work with your modules, right? You can create your own module, and then that means you can save your codes, whatever the reusable codes, in a file with the extension .py, and then you can import it, and thereafter, rather repeating the code every day, you could use it. Therefore, in order to use it, you have to call whatever the module name dot method name. If you want, give an alias, that also possible. You can provide m wherever you have my data. You can use m. You can rename it with an alias. Then this is how it will work. Right now, this is how you can uh, give an alias in order to work with. Right now, if you want to get the what's inside this my data, what's inside this my data. Right now, if you want to find out what's inside the my data module, then you can print dir my data. Right, dir my data. Right now, these are the things available in our one. Like if you use import math, and what's inside the math module, you can figure it out. And if you want to find out what is inside the date time, that also you can figure it out using the dir. Now you can see, let's have some spaces, otherwise you can't have it now. Right now you can see this is what we have declared. It has what the default values, the name, get total, me, and name, get total, me, and say hello. And these are the things available. In the math module, you can see it has from the things we have done already. We have tried exponent, flow, fabs, what else, log. We have pi, power, like these are the available methods in the math module. And this is the available things in the date module. Like these are the available things in the date module. Now this is how you can check whether, if you want to check whether how we can work with that. What are the methods available in those? Right. And also, if you don't want to import all the methods, now when you import my data, that means you're importing all the methods. No? So if you don't want to import all the methods, and if you want to import only a particular one, right, then let's say only the dictionary we want to import, then we can say from my data import me. From my data, the dictionary name was me, right? From my data import me, and then we can uh, just print me. Right now, then if you try to go call this, if you try to print the name, or we have the name variable, we have n variable. If we okay name. Now, if you try to print the name, you will be getting an error. Name is not defined. Why? We have imported only the me dictionary. We have only imported the certain part from the dictionary. So we have not imported everything. Therefore, if you say import my data, that means you are importing all the things into this context. But if you say from the module name import and certain thing, then if you say import name, that means you are importing only the name. Likewise, you can have, then you will be getting an error saying me is not available. But without me, it will work because now name is available. Now name is available. Right. Likewise, you can import only certain method, certain part from the module as well. Right. Now, this is how we can work with the modules. So, any questions up to now you can ask. Now we have discussed about the double OP concepts as well as the modules. Under modules we discussed date module, math module, and the custom modules. Right. Any questions up to now? You can ask.